What if everything you thought you understood about Dexter's story was only the surface, and the real ending hid in the shadows? Episode 10 of Dexter Resurrection doesn't just close a chapter, it dares to whisper a truth darker than anything we've seen before. From the very beginning, Dexter has been more than just a killer. He's been a puzzle half-man, half-monster, a predator hiding in plain sight, and yet, he was always the kind of monster we couldn't look away from. The return of Dexter Resurrection promised to bring back the thrill, the tension, and the complicated morality that made the original series unforgettable. For 9 episodes, fans were pulled back into the dangerous dance between Dexter's humanity and his hunger. But before episode 10 could shatter expectations, we need to remember what led us here. Each step of Dexter's return has been built on a fragile foundation of lies, secrets, and near misses. He tries to build something like a normal life. He tries to escape the curse of his dark passenger. And for a moment, it almost feels like maybe, just maybe, he's found a way to outrun his own shadow. But of course, anyone who knows Dexter Morgan understands one thing. His shadow always finds him. Episode 9 left viewers hanging on the edge of uncertainty. The lines between justice, survival, and obsession blurred more than ever before. The people close to Dexter sensed there was more to him than he was willing to reveal. His enemies, too, crept closer with every misstep. Every lie Dexter told was another thread unraveling from the mask he wore so carefully. Fans braced themselves for some kind of conclusion. They wanted answers. They wanted a payoff. And episode 10 delivered, just not in the way anyone expected. The world Dexter inhabits is built on tension. It's a world where the police search for monsters while one of their own sits quietly in the room, smiling, blending in. It's a world where family dinners and brutal killings happen in the same night, where love and horror are tangled in the same breath. By the time we step into the final episode, this world feels heavier than ever. Every scene is charged. Every silence feels like it's hiding a scream. What makes this moment so important is that it doesn't just mark the end of another season, it's the end of Dexter's supposed resurrection. The promise that he could return, that he could control the beast inside him, that he could live in the light. Episode 10 forces us to question whether that promise was ever real. Was Dexter truly on the path to redemption? Or was this journey nothing more than another carefully constructed illusion, destined to collapse the moment we started to believe in it? The tension in the opening scenes of episode 10 reminds us that Dexter is a character built on contradictions. He saves people, but he kills them too. He hides his sins, but he also desperately wants to be seen. He claims to follow a code, but his code bends and breaks when it suits him. The stage is set not for an ending that comforts us, but for one that unsettles us. The truth is that Dexter's story has never really been about happy endings. It's been about how long he can keep fooling us into thinking one might be possible. As episode 10 begins, it's clear that the creators of Dexter Resurrection want us to feel both anticipation and dread. We know something big is coming, but we don't know what shape it will take. We don't know whether we're about to see a man free himself from his demons, or watch him drag deeper into the darkness than ever before. This is not just another finale. This is the moment where Dexter's past, his present, and his future collide in a way that will leave fans questioning everything they thought they knew about the character. The stage is prepared. The players are in position. The darkness is waiting to take its turn. And with that, the door opens to episode 10, the place where everything unravels, and the dark truth behind Dexter's so-called resurrection begins to bleed through. At first glance, episode 10 feels like it's giving the audience exactly what they've been waiting for. After 9 episodes of build-up, suspicion, and close calls, the finale paints a picture of closure. We see Dexter face the inevitable consequences of his choices, cornered by the web he spun for himself. The moment is staged like a final confrontation, the kind of showdown where the hunter finally becomes the hunted. The surface ending shows us a Dexter who seems stripped bare. No clever tricks left to pull, no easy escapes. He stands at the edge of exposure, as if the entire world is closing in on him. The episode crafts this illusion of finality. Dexter Morgan, the man who has outrun fate for so long, finally comes face to face with it. The music swells, the tension cuts sharp through the silence, and every shot feels like a goodbye. The confrontation is where the emotional weight lands hardest. Dexter isn't just battling an enemy across the table, he's battling himself. His lies are cracking. His code feels hollow. And in those final minutes, it looks like the series is giving us what so many viewers demanded years ago during New Blood and Ending, where Dexter is forced to pay the ultimate price for everything he's done. On the surface, this is justice. It's the neat, balanced conclusion that television often hands out, the villain finally caught in the trap he built for others. What makes this surface ending so striking is how carefully it manipulates us into believing it's the end. The dialogue is deliberate, almost poetic in the way it ties back to earlier seasons. Characters speak words that echo past warnings and regrets. Even Dexter's body language feels heavier, as though the weight of all his sins has finally sunk into his skin. The camera lingers on him longer than usual, holding the silence, daring us to imagine the man beneath the monster. Fans watching this scene for the first time might have felt a strange satisfaction. For years, Dexter's story had been one of escape slipping through cracks, faking his way into normalcy, finding loopholes in morality. Episode 10 seems to slam all of those doors shut at once. The ending feels clean, complete. Dexter is trapped, cornered, and finally exposed. If the episode ended right there, many fans might have walked away feeling that long-awaited sense of closure, but closure in Dexter's world has always been a trick of the light. The show knows how badly audiences crave it, and it dangles it like bait. The surface ending gives us a taste of that satisfaction, the sense that justice has been served, that Dexter's reign is over, that the monster has been caged. It feels like a final act of punishment, one that lines up perfectly with the moral demands of the audience. Yet, if you look closely, there's something off about how perfect this ending feels. The pacing is just a little too neat. The framing of Dexter's downfall feels rehearsed, almost theatrical. It's as if the story wants us to exhale, to believe that we've reached the end of the line so it can pull the rug out from under us later. Episode 10's surface ending is not the end at all, it's a mask. A performance. A carefully crafted illusion meant to blind us to the deeper, darker truth waiting beneath Dot. And that's the brilliance of it. The show doesn't just tell us Dexter's story, it plays with us, the audience, the same way Dexter plays with everyone in his life. The surface ending is bait, and most of us take it without question. But as the credits roll and the weight of the finale lingers in the air, something begins to feel wrong. Something feels unfinished. And that's because the ending we've just watched isn't really the ending at all. It's only the surface. The real story lies beneath the shadows. Asterisk what makes episode 10 so unforgettable is not what it shows us on the surface, it's what it hides in plain sight. The finale feels like it's speaking two languages at once, one for the casual viewer, who just wants closure, and another for those willing to look deeper into the shadows between the lines. When you pause, rewind, and really study the episode, you begin to see that the so-called ending is layered with symbols, clues and echoes of Dexter's past that twist its meaning into something far more sinister. Take the use of visual motifs. Blood, for example, has always been the thread that sews Dexter's story together. In episode 10, the camera lingers just a little too long on small drops, smears, and stains. They're not there for gore, they're there as reminders. Every drop is like a breadcrumb trail leading back to Dexter's first kill, his first mistake, his first step into darkness. It's as if the show is whispering, no matter how hard he tries to clean up, the blood always returns. Then there are the shadows. In earlier episodes, light often represented Dexter's attempts to live normally daytime jobs, conversations with loved ones, the fragile illusion of a balanced life. But in episode 10, shadows dominate the screen. Conversations are dimly lit, hallways stretch into black voids. Even Dexter's face seems half-hidden most of the time. This isn't an accident, it's visual storytelling reminding us that Dexter doesn't truly exist in the light. He is, and always has been, a creature of the dark, and let's not ignore the dialogue. On the surface, it reads like closure, like carefully chosen words that tie off old wounds. But listen closely and the words double back on themselves. Line about finally being free sounds less like liberation and more like surrender. A promise about protecting family rings hollow when spoken by a man who destroys everyone he loves. Even the rhythm of Dexter's speech feels rehearsed, as if he's trying to convince himself as much as anyone else. These double meanings transform what looks like redemption into something far more tragic. Denial, the references to Dexter's past are where the finale becomes haunting. Tiny callbacks phrases used in earlier seasons, camera angles that mirror iconic moments, even music cues recycled from pivotal scenes act like ghosts haunting the story. It's as though Dexter's past selves are watching from the corners, reminding us that nothing has truly changed. The boy molded by Harry's code, the man who pretended to be a family man, the predator who claimed to kill only the guilty, they're all still there, stitched together in the figure we see on screen. Resurrection, in this sense, doesn't mean rebirth, it means repetition. And here's where the creators play their cleverest trick. They use the audience's own expectations against us. Fans begged for closure after years of messy endings. They wanted justice. They wanted Dexter to finally face the music. Episode 10 dangles that in front of us, but at the same time, it sprinkles enough unease to make us second-guess what we're seeing. The episode is like Dexter himself smiling on the outside, but hiding something far more dangerous beneath. So, was the ending truly a resolution? Or was it just another turn in an endless cycle? The symbols suggest the latter. Every moment that feels like closure is undercut by a detail that suggests continuation. The blood that won't wash away. The shadows swallowing the frame. The dialogue that contradicts itself. It all points to one chilling truth. Dexter's darkness isn't ending, it's waiting. Waiting for another chance, another victim, another resurrection. This is why the surface ending feels so strange when you sit with it. At first, it seems neat and final. But the more you think, the more you notice cracks in the mask. The story isn't finished, it's just hiding. And in that silence, in those shadows, we realize the finale isn't telling us that Dexter's story is over. It's telling us that it can never really end. Because monsters like Dexter don't disappear, they just change the shape of their disguise. The real genius of episode 10 is that it doesn't actually give us an ending. It gives us an illusion, one final trick, one final mask. On the surface, Dexter's downfall looks like justice, like balance, like the end of the story. But the truth beneath it all is darker, heavier, and far more unsettling. There is no end for Dexter Morgan. There never was. The so-called resolution is revealed as a carefully crafted performance, not just for the characters around him, but for us, the audience. The series wanted us to feel like we finally had closure, and for a moment we believed it. But when the dust settles, what remains is not satisfaction, it's doubt. Did Dexter really meet justice? Did he really change? Or did we just watch? The cycle reset in a new disguise? The dark truth is that Dexter's resurrection was never about redemption. It was about repetition. His attempt to live normally, to silence the dark passenger, was nothing but a temporary act. Every choice he made, every step he took only led him back to the same place, surrounded by blood, haunted by lies, staring into the abyss that he pretends to control. The finale doesn't close his story, it proves that his story can't be closed. Think about the way the episode ends. It doesn't feel like peace. It doesn't feel like justice. It feels like a pause, like the silence before thunder. The shadows, the blood, the recycled words from the past, they're all reminders that Dexter isn't gone. He is a cycle of violence wearing a human face. He may be trapped in one form or another, but his darkness will always find a way to resurface. That's why the show chose the word resurrection. It wasn't about bringing him back for nostalgia. It was about showing us that his demons can't die. They only wait. The creators are telling us something chilling here. Dexter is not just a character in a story, he's an idea. The idea that darkness can hide in plain sight. The idea that Evil doesn't always wear a mask. It can smile, it can love, it can pass as normal. And most terrifying of all, the idea that the line between justice and obsession, between hero and monster, is paper thin. Dexter represents the darkness that can never be buried because it doesn't just live in him, it lives in us. This is why the finale lingers in your mind long after the credits roll. It doesn't give you a neat answer to tuck away and forget. It forces you to wrestle with uncomfortable questions. Was Dexter ever truly redeemable? Or was every attempt at change just another layer of self-deception? Did we want him to be caught? Because he deserved it, or because we couldn't stand watching him escape one more time? The finale doesn't answer these questions, it throws them back at us like a mirror, and that is the darkest truth of all. We didn't just watch Dexter's story, we participated in it, we rooted for him. We excused his sins because he made us believe he was different from the monsters he killed. But in the end, was he really different? Or did we simply choose to believe he was, because it made us feel better? The finale reminds us that evil doesn't always look like a stranger in the dark alley. It can look like the man we've been following, even cheering for all along. So when the screen fades to black, it isn't just the end of an episode. It's a haunting statement. Dexter doesn't end. He can't. His darkness isn't a chapter to be closed. It's a cycle to be lived again. And again, in new forms, in new masks. That is the dark truth behind the ending. Not closure, not justice, but the unsettling realization that the monster never dies. He only waits for resurrection.